Alright, quick update guys. So got to work back on these rear frames again, the suspension pieces, and I found a makeshift way of doing this, I believe. Took a couple of people's advice, and I think I got it figured out what all I've got to do. So what I did was I took these sleeves and I split them with the plasma cutter in the corner, because this bracket here, the way it was welded, I couldn't split the middle and just spread it, so I just cut it at the corner, and it actually didn't cut all the way through this weld, but I'm going to be going back and welding all the way down this seam anyways, filling all this in. But anyways, that's on the new frame rail section. Just got them both sides cut, separated, re-drilled, and just bolted in place on this side. The other one's on the ground over there. I hadn't actually bolted it up on the car, so I could get you a better image of what I did. So what my friend pointed out to me, one thing was these rear frames, the original frame like came back kind of at an angle backwards. These new ones keep it straight and then they hook right here. So in doing so, this bracket right here is now slanted some. Most likely I'm going to end up having to fix that. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet. That's why all these pieces are just Tech screwed in. I just got a couple of self-tapping screws holding it up. What I'm going to probably have to do is cut along this weld up here, and probably some of this, flex it out, and then re-weld this side here, and then this piece I'll weld whenever I do this seam. But I'll most likely have to straighten that. I've got to go and look at the drawings and the instructions on how the install is, but I'm pretty sure that has to be straight, because this goes, I want to say this is used as, I don't remember what the actual term for it, but it's an adjustable linkage that goes all the way down and across to the axle over there, which I actually went and picked it up from my mom's. So anyways, that's that. And this is a 4 9-inch that I pulled off of a Cougar that I actually paid $200 for the whole damn car. Got these wheels, that rear end, and some hooker headers, I believe, long tube headers. Not bad for $200. Ended up selling the car for $250, I think, or $300, just the shell, which I kind of miss it because that would have been my next project. It was a nice looking car. But anyways, so this piece, give you a better picture of what was done. It'll focus on. So here's the split on this one, same deal. Drilled it. I got to go pick up a bolt because the ones provided won't bolt with that, and these will actually be too short. Actually, I can use this for this back section, but these two I'll have to replace whenever I actually put that cross brace in, because they barely fit without the cross brace, and that'll add another 1/4 inch. But that's that section. Again, I'll have to go through, weld this up. So underneath here though, let me see, get this light going. If it'll ignite. There we go. Alright. So up underneath here, this floor pan, I don't know if I'm going to end up having to cut it or if I can hammer it in enough, but you can see where it's been scraping, and up here where it scraped the paint off. This frame butts up dead against that, like tight against it. You can see where it's pushing it out some there, but it is dead up against it. And there's a bolt hole, which I don't have to use. I can weld this thing in, and that bolt hole doesn't actually need to be used. I could just fill that back in. But regardless, I'd like to have at least a little bit of air gap there, so this isn't just up against metal that's not actually welded or sealed. So it's not just pinched up against that. So I'll probably end up trying to put a 2x on this and just kind of hammered it in some. Hopefully that'll do it. I really don't want to have to cut and weld that. I really don't like welding thin ass sheet metal. Not having to stitch weld that or butt weld that back together. It's a pain in the ass. Oh, the next project after I get that frame tacked back in and that little bracket over there turned back to where it's actually 90 degrees to the car. This no longer fits in between. And what I think I decided on it doesn't need much removed. It's very little that needs to be taken off. These brackets and it don't matter. those just go to the sway bar, and these are the shock or the coilovers that go to the actual axle. Now those axle brackets can shift in on the tubes, so that's not an issue, or I can just have a slight angle. Rudder sent me a link to some good information on shocks and angles and how it affects travel. I read up on it a little bit. But the other issue is these. Yet again, how I said the frames originally were slanted, and these new ones kind of take that slant and straighten them, and then at the end it has that little, not a 40, quite a 45, but like a little slight angle to it. These are angled. They do not sit flat. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is cut part of the weld and then flex it out and then re-weld it. That way I don't have to remove them completely. I don't lose my angle of how they are. I don't have to worry about measuring any of that. I think I can just cut part of the weld loose, hammer it out, and I'll probably bolt it into the car first and then come back and tack it in place where it needs, how much it needs flexed. The same thing for this. Someone had mentioned slipping a smaller diameter pipe inside of this. If I can find one that fits it snug, I'll do that. And I'll just cut a little section out of it, slip that pipe inside, slip it back over, and then butt weld it back in. And I've got this, so I think the original idea was, he had told me that to keep, that way it keeps the pipe from being welded at an angle, that way it keeps it true. But this should do that as well. So if I can't find a pipe that fits a nice diameter, then screw it, I'll just use that and butt weld it back. That's what's up on the agenda next. I've got to get a measurement once I get that other side screwed back in, see how much I need to take off. I'll probably go ahead and cut these so I can get it kind of flexed a little bit to get a little bit better of a measurement off of it. And weld that in, and that'll be it on this back section. Other than, of course, the quarters. And these little tabs, little bumper tabs, whatever they're called, bumper supports. But I'm about done for the night. I just wanted to give a quick update of what's been done. I really wish somebody has installed one of these suspensions. It'd be a little bit more helpful on getting information, but like I said, this is going to be the main thing that's going to be a pain, I think, is trying to get that straightened out. But I'll give y'all an update whenever I figure it out, or whenever I get the next step done. I'm gonna wait a good while before I decide to weld these in solid. Those there. Make sure that everything's perfect straight before I go attaching it, because it'll be a whole lot easier to weld on those if they're not actually attached to the car. I can unscrew them and then weld on a bench instead of having to weld overhead, which I hate. Like Rudder said, there's no way around it, you're getting burned. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching.